Hey everyone, it's Nate with Metrics here with our next project. We got a customer machine in this time. It's a '09 ZX6. Basically just need to go through it, getting ready for springtime and just want to check it over. There's a few specific things we're going to do. It looks like it's been banged up a little bit. The rear tail section needs some work, so I'll show you some of those details here in a sec. But let's get started. So here's the bike. Like I said, a '09 ZX6. Pretty decent shape. Customer loves it. He hasn't owned it that long, and so just wants to go through it, make sure it's ready for springtime, and see what it needs. I've started taking some of the plastics off to get the seat off and things like that, because one of the cosmetic things, you see the rear tail section is pretty banged up and busted. It was being held together with a bungee cord. So I'm gonna obviously fix that up. We could see somebody's just shoved a bar through what's supposed to hold the front seat on, so fix that up. There was a couple other things too. The owner wanted me to make sure it didn't need a timing chain tensioner. That seems fine. And the fork seals, one of them was a little damp, but I think we're good for now. I'm going to recommend you hold off and just keep an eye on it. We can always do that pretty quick when the time comes. So we'll get started. So making some progress here. It's probably going to be tough to see, but there was some missing hardware. This is what holds the tray in place up on the rear tail, the subframe. Those were missing, so I put some new ones of those in. Lined everything up, put some new plugs in to hold the plastic tail pieces together. It's looking pretty decent. The tank was a little floppy, so tuned that up. It's much better now. And just kind of plunking away at it. I did notice the oil is a little low, so I'm gonna go ahead and do an oil change on it, oil and filter, and probably just maintenance the chain. The chain looks okay, chain sprockets. So yeah, I think it'll be good for most of this season. Might want to come back in for a few things at the end of the year, but all in all, it looks pretty good.
So you don't technically have to do this on this bike, but I'm going to show you how to take the belly pan off. You basically just take off these 3 fasteners in the front. There's one in the back, and then there's some push pins in the front near the radiator. So we'll do that, even though you don't technically have to. Give us a little bit more room for draining the oil into a pan and hopefully make less of a mess. One other thing to watch out for here is there are plastic tabs that go in between the 2 pieces of fairing, so make sure to be careful when you take these 2 apart.
And here's what makes a 5-second job turn into a half-an-hour job. When you're putting stuff back together and you notice that the fastener is all wallowed out and rounded off and not in good shape, unless you're stuck on the side of the road, just get the right one, fix it, because the next guy is going to have to do it too. Horrifying. So I just wanted to share how we handled this. See, that's pretty wallowed out. The regular Allen key that's supposed to fit that was starting to get sloppy, so I grabbed a Torx bit, same size. And if you didn't know, you can interchange these. You can use the Torx on an Allen fastener. So one thing I like about this is they grab a little bit better than the regular Allen one. So put that on a small hand impact with the right adapter, and was able to get this bad boy out, which I will replace with one out of the bolt bin. Just wanted to kind of show you the contraption I got going on here.
You got a filter wrench on there. I have cracked that loose. You can see that maybe the oil is just starting to trickle out. The main thing I wanted to show you is using tin foil and route that where you need the oil to go. It'll basically keep it from getting all over the bike. I have no idea why Kawi decided to put the filter up in there, but there it is. So taking that off, as soon as we get this out and the new one installed and the mess cleaned up, I'll crack open the drain plug and drain everything, and then get this put back together. So I thought I'd take a minute and try to show you guys another trick I got here. This is just a piece of trim plastic. It goes along the gas tank on this bike. You can see it's cracked. Hopefully you can see it's cracked. And someone has tried putting some glue on it. It obviously isn't going to do anything. So what I'm going to do is plastic weld it. Just use a soldering iron. You can use a zip tie for extra material if you feel like you need it. I may or may not do that on this one. I just have a piece of tape on the back side holding it basically in its spot. And I'm gonna hit this with the soldering iron and basically put it back together. It won't be like new, but it's a lot better than spending money on a new piece of plastic that's probably gonna get broken the next time you take it apart. So I'll show you, this is the before and I'll show you the after. All right, no idea how this is gonna come out on film, but or on camera. But we're going to give this a try. I don't know how well you can even see this, but the crack is right along here. It's basically the whole width of the piece, and we're just going to try to get some material in there to hold it together. I'm going to try to shed some more light on the subject. Fix that in post. So the idea here is basically just to fold this plastic over on itself, melt it back together. Again, we're not looking for brand new, we're just looking for not cracked and weird. You can use any color zip tie you want to add material. Obviously you don't want to burn a hole through the material you're working on. The reason I say you can use any color zip tie is because after you burn them up, they're all black anyway. So work in a well-ventilated space. Fumes do stink, and it's burning plastic, so it's not good for you. Pretty good. Doesn't fix the front side, obviously, but at least it's got some rigidity now. Hopefully we can put it back on without re-cracking it. And at this point, you could try putting something on the front side, something more like an epoxy or something like that. But for now, this is going to be good enough. If the owner wants a new one, he can buy that, and we'll install it later. So here's the finished product. Again, you can tell that it's been repaired, obviously, and having the old glue that was on there isn't helping that. But I did go back and forth across that seam a few times on the front. It's a textured surface. There's no matching it exactly, but it sort of blends it in a little better. And on the back side, still not very pretty, but it's holding together with, I've test flexed it a few times. The real test will be when I go to reinstall this. One of the things you can do is put some lube on these, not a ton, but a little dab of something, just so when you go to especially pull them back out, they're not totally dry and just stuck in there.
do that on all your body panels. The rest of this is just Velcro, so it should go back together pretty easy. Okay, here she is, all ready to go. Customers should be on their way shortly. That's the repair. You know, in the light you can see it a little more, but definitely better than it was. About to fully break off. Everything else is done. Oil change, topped off brake fluid, fixed. The front seat bolts were stripped out. The holes were stripped out, so helicoiled those and put new fasteners. And a couple other things I'm forgetting. She done. Looking good.